Hello and welcome to another episode of Tetrad TV. That's right, episode 6336. Anyway, the business of video games is our subject tonight. We're going to have a fantastic time. But unfortunately, the last pen fighter cannot be with us tonight. He had some a surgery this last week and is unable to be with us right now. He's still recovering, so we wish him well. I know he's with us in chat. So, last pen fighter, get better soon so you can be with us here on Tetrad TV.
Yes.
Sorry, man.
We need you, sir. We need you back.
We need you back. We need you! So, how are you guys doing this week? Raccoon, what have you been up to all week?
Oh, goodness. What have I been up to all week? I've been doing some doing some Destiny. I did a little bit of Outer Worlds yesterday and Fallout New Vegas. That was kind of a surprise. It was a bit interesting. Yeah. Just Fallout is super old. That is all I can say on that one. Not a whole lot planned for this coming week. Probably a little bit more Destiny. Just trying to grind out as much as possible before the upcoming new game DLC. Yeah.
How about you? Patch stuff?
The patch stuff, yes, the patch stuff. How about you, Grenade?
I've been doing good. I've been dealing with a lot of family stuff and myself stuff. Other than that, my best friend is now on PC, and I've been dealing with helping him get all that set up. Clink was there helping too.
He is a first-time PC gamer, right? So he doesn't know much about Windows or anything, but glad to be there for a total newbie.
Right, and it didn't help that he was drunk as shit when we were all trying to help him. So finally, Spencer's like, just let me get in there. Just let me get in there. I'll do it. I'll get in there. And he went in there and he helped him out quite a bit. I actually started playing Gary's mod with him too and got back into GTFO. Gary's mod is funny shit. If anybody has not played that, it's
so good.
There was a lot of pretty cool games in there, but there's just a lot of toxic people in there as well.
There are. That's true.
GTFO is still a great game. That's one of those games where you have to have nobody can be sassy. Everybody's got to be on point. And everybody's got to be talking to each other. Otherwise, you're not going to get past anything. But it's a good game. How about you, Clink? What's been up with you, my man?
I played a hell of a lot of Pokemon this week. I had a great time playing the new DLC for Isle of Armor, and getting trades, working on my Pokedex. I'm at 368 out of 400 right now. So I'm so close to catching them all. Gotta catch them all, Pokemon.
Now, is this old school Pokemon? Is Ash in it, or is
no? This is in the Galar region, so it's England basically. It's a whole new story. All the Pokemon have updated textures and animation moves. It looks like a Pokemon in the modern era. It is such a good game. If you love Pokemon, it's this is fantastic.
Grenade?
Yeah.
Ash never been in a Pokemon game.
Yes, he was.
No,
that's
red.
true.
It was red. It was red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the shit out of Red and Blue.
But that was never Ash.
It was red. It wasn't Ash.
It was never actually Ash. His name was either red or blue.
You're probably 100% right. I never paid attention to that. I always thought it was Ash. And thank you for correcting me on that. But then the other one I played for Pokemon was Stadium. And I would run around as Dark Mewtwo just messing people up.
I loved Stadium. I also loved Pokemon Snap, which is coming out again. They're doing a re-release of Pokemon Snap, and I cannot wait.
Now, are they going to do it on mobile, or are they going to do it on
Switch? On Switch.
I feel like Snap would be cool on mobile. I really feel like Snap would be real cool on mobile. I mean,
isn't that what Pokemon Go kind of is though?
No, you actually go to gyms and search for them, and sit there and fight for them.
That's true.
But when you're done, I would like to make an announcement real quick.
Okay, well, I'm done. I played Pokemon this week, and I plan on playing Pokemon this next week and filling out my Pokedex. So,
if we hit 20 subs tonight, I will give out a free copy of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Ooh, what? Wow. Wow, code and all, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And that's for PS4, right?
Yep.
Which I did. I did hear this week that Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out to PC, I think.
It is. That's the reason why I was bringing that up, because I think it launches on Thursday, doesn't it?
Does it launch this Thursday? I didn't think it launched that quickly, but
Yeah, I remember I was listening to Chainfire talk about it, and he was saying I think it's this week.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. PC release date. What, February 27th, 2017, but that was on PS4. I don't know. August 7th, 2020. So no, it is not this week. It is next month. Month from today is when it comes out.
A month from today.
On
That's
Steam.
good.
Yeah.
No, it's September 7th, according to Nick.
I just looked at Steam and it says August 7th, 2020.
Well, it's coming out on a 7th, guys. One of next month or the following month.
It's a 7. It's a 7.
It's 7.
It's a 7.
7. 7's the best.
7 is a great number. We just had 4 of those, and we're bungeeing it up in here.
So yeah, tonight's episode is all about the business of video games, DLCs, microtransactions, season passes, and what the future looks like for video games. But first, we got to get into the news. So, what do we have for upcoming releases this week in video games? NASCAR Heat 5 coming out tomorrow. It's a NASCAR racing game on all platforms. I liked racing games when I was a kid, but
I have to wonder: is it another left turn? Another left turn?
It's always another left turn.
I 100% agree with Raccoon.
Yep. Superliminal coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This is a minimal puzzle game. So minimalistic art style puzzle game that comes out tomorrow, which I saw the trailers on this. It actually looked really cool. I'm a big fan of minimal art style. So Superliminal comes out tomorrow. Let's see, Crosscode comes out. I thought Crosscode was already out. No, it's in early access. That's right.
Oh, so it's one of those games.
Yes. So I downloaded this on Steam in early access and played it a little bit. It really cool, kind of minimal controls, but it's like a top-down 2D action RPG anime sci-fi fantasy Zelda with guns and swords and party members, and it's really cool. So make sure you check that out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. I guess that's what it is. It's already out on Steam, but it comes out on consoles on the 9th. Are any of you guys Castlevania fans?
Yep, right here.
Okay,
yep,
so
yep.
Koji Igarashi, the creator of Castlevania, is coming out with his new action platformer, Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon 2, on all platforms on Friday.
That shit looked intense too.
It looks intense.
Yeah.
So I think this was his Kickstarter game, actually. Like he put it out on Kickstarter and got a ton of donations because, it's Koji Igarashi. So
wasn't he saying like this is like been a passion project of his for years and years and years?
It has, yes.
Yep.
So kind of excited about that. That should be real good.
Means there'll be some time put in it.
Let's see. Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, is a Switch exclusive coming out. It's a sequel to the cult classic Deadly Premonition. Track down a vicious serial killer and explore the town of La Carré. So I guess it's French game?
I would imagine so.
Anyway, it looked cool. Like mystery, noir, kind of, Anyway, more racing fan stuff. F1 2020.
Anyway.
You just totally reminded me of The Mask when he was talking French in the park.
F1 2020 comes out on Friday on all consoles. More racing for you racing fans out there. Now, this next game is one that is dear to my heart because I am a Kirito fan. Sword Art Online, Alicization, Lycoris, comes out on Friday on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's a Sword Art Kirito dating simulator in the latest place that Sword Art Online takes place. Like, I am so excited. I love it. I love it.
Did you play the last Sword Art game? Did you play the last Sword Art game?
I bought them all on Steam because of Steam
Fucking
Summer Sale.
Hated it. Hated
Wait.
every second of it.
Gun Gale?
Yep.
Wait,
loved it.
no. I
hated
thought
the
Sword
game.
Art Online versus Excel World was the latest one.
Isn't that like kind of like a 2D fighter though?
No, it still
No,
counts.
there was one that was like a third-person shooter. I thought that was Gun Gale.
That's Gun Gale.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, I hated it. It was the same thing over and over and over
That's what
again.
those
I could
games
never get in
are.
that.
Use different weapons.
Even then, I couldn't even go into matchmaking. Me and my buddy Chuck were playing it, and we'd sit there for so long trying to do these long ass missions. We had to convince our other friends to buy the game so we could play the game.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
I enjoy the Kirito dating simulators. It's fun because you have your harem of all of the ladies in the series, and she's not your sister, she's your cousin.
technically.
You would.
Technically.
You
That
would.
is literally
he would.
that is literally the plot of the TV show. So don't give me that. Don't give me that. In other video game news, Crucible, the Amazon game that we reviewed a few weeks ago, has officially been nixed. It is canceled. Amazon was like, well, we got really bad feedback. So back to the drawing board.
So what do you think they're gonna do? Like go back, make some changes to it, and
I don't know.
re-release it, or what do you think? What's your honest gut? Both of you guys, honest gut opinion. What do you think they're gonna do with the game?
So the feedback that I was reading was that people were saying that it's irrelevant in today's gaming world. Like the game was just irrelevant. Why is this even a game? Is what people were saying.
I highly disagree. I think the game had a great concept. I think they failed at like ever reaching that goal. Like the idea of having an interactive PvE environment while also competing in a PvE match-made system, it's a good idea. Just done really horribly.
It was done horribly. My review on that game, if you watch, I think it was episode 1 or 2 of Tetrad. I mean, it was so buggy. I couldn't do it. It was not great. Not great for being a game that was like, hey, here's our final product. No, it was not. Not at all. So, anyways, Crucible officially canceled. I don't know what Amazon's going to do with it. I'm interested to see what happens. So, yeah, I know. Imagine being a member of that dev team, huh?
Imagine paying for the skins and content in that game.
I know, which you could already buy. I think they were refunding though. Honestly, that's
based on what I've seen. I haven't seen anything about them refunding.
They ain't gonna refund that shit. It's Amazon. It's Jeff Bezos. Come on here. He's gonna take that and run.
So I was actually there was this beta test that I got into this week. And it was very janky, but it was a really cool concept. It was called Hunter's Arena, and it's like, you know, those Chinese Asian MMOs that are like super high fidelity graphics, but it was that with PvE elements, PvP elements, and it was very similar to Crucible, but in like this fantasy style world, and the graphics looked amazing, but on controller it was just buggy. But I played the beta a little bit. It seemed cool. I don't know. I think it comes out sometime later this month, officially as early access for everyone. But I don't know. Just very similar to Crucible in style, at least of the PvPvE elements of it. So I know we were talking about sword art, so I'm gonna jump into anime next. So much good anime. Anime Expo was this last weekend. Anime Expo Lite streaming on YouTube and Twitch. It was very interesting seeing what they did with that. Some of it was really cool. Some of it was just like, man, you guys are trying to fill up 2 days of content, and I don't know how I felt about it. So I've been to Anime Expo, and I enjoy going for waiting in lines and seeing all the new anime on big screens and stuff like that, but I don't know if they really hit the mark with Anime Expo Lite this year. Yeah. So in anime this week, though, Japan Sinks 2020 coming out on the 9th on Netflix. An ordinary family is put to the test as a series of massive earthquakes throw Japan into total mayhem. So interesting Netflix anime coming out.
I saw the preview for that. Like, I you know when you like on your phone or something, you get like the preview screen, like it'll tell you like what, like, you know, I just kept flipping every time I saw it, but I was actually finishing off BNA on Netflix because I couldn't get my phone to work. I was getting all kinds of stupid shit, but I got on there, and right after BNA ended, the trailer for that started. And to me, those aren't animes I normally get into because it's like I understand the whole syncing thing, but I like action and crazy cool stuff going on. But just watching how well they put together that trailer, it looks super cool about a family trying to survive what happens if Japan
after a massive earthquake. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds
It
interesting.
looks great. I'm interested to see it on the 9th when it comes out.
Mm-hmm. Watch it.
We'll watch it. An anime that has already come out, though, Fire Force Season 2 just aired on the 4th, 2 days ago. If you haven't watched Fire Force Season 1, it is spectacular. Fire has consumed the entire planet except for a small area of Japan, and people have like these fire powers in order to fight fires. It's crazy. The sound effects in that show are just...
They use fire to power the entire city.
Yeah.
Like an actual... Yeah, it's a really good show.
It's a really good show.
I thought I was gonna hate it when my kid was watching. I was like, "This shit's so stupid!" Like, because
like
right
firefighters, right? Firefighters.
Yeah,
Who the fuck watches a show about firefighters?
Reincarnated as a slime or whatever. And I sat down and finished that up, and then he started watching that one. I was like, I should probably watch it. And
Raccoon has something to say about Fire Force.
I hope it sounds a lot better than it. Well, it is a lot better than it sounds because I don't know about firefighters fighting fire with fire.
It is. They basically have fire superpowers and like fight bad guys with their fire superpowers. It's so cool.
But you sounds more fire.
No. Take away the whole fighting fires with buildings. It's like not the main premise. It's like these people can control different forms of fire, like different kind of combustion, use it as like rockets and stuff like that. It's all kinds of, it's really good. You need to watch it.
One guy has a plasma sword because, plasma is technically fire.
Yep.
Fire, right. Yeah.
Anyway, season 2 just came out. Watch season 1 if you haven't watched it. Season 2 is amazing. I'm so excited to see where they take the show. Let's see. ReZero Starting a Life in Another World season 2 comes out on the 8th. An ordinary high school student finds himself transported to another world and can't die. Season 1 was really good. Like, really good for an isekai show. And he's an asshole, yes.
Yeah, he is an asshole. But it's a great show.
ReZero is fantastic. Let's see, what else? No Guns Life Season 2 is finally coming out on the 10th. Humankind has augmented themselves with machines, and one of them is special and on the run. That's kind of my synopsis of it. If you haven't watched No Guns Life, he's illegal, yes. If you haven't watched No Guns Life Season 1, it is fantastic and amazing, and you should watch it. Season 2, I cannot wait to see where they take the show. It's going to be so good.
If you like noir style, like books or anime or game type things, you're going to like No Guns Life.
Is it like a big O aesthetic, or what are we talking about?
It's about a guy who, like you said, he's an illegal. He's augmented. But he was augmented that way for a war. But it's kind of him narrating what's going on in his life and how he's trying to. He could be like a PI. It's really good. I can't really give you a non-spoiler free synopsis of it because I'm telling you the whole damn thing.
He's a private investigator, and his face is a gun.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really cool. Like, the art style is really cool, and it's like this PI noir style show. So, the season 2 was supposed to come out in April, but got delayed because of COVID. So it is now finally coming out in July. I can't wait. Finally, in anime. Do you have anything else to add, Grenade?
No, I was just gonna say, Pen. It's a great anime.
You should.
Great one.
Kame, for those of you who are listening, he's speaking of Kame ga Kill. Another great series along fantastic.
It's fantastic. A Kame ga Kill is great.
Call me handsome or bro. I love that part.
Finally in anime, the one that I've been excited to announce, along with the Alicization Sword Art Online game coming out, the new season of Sword Art Online, Alicization War of the Underworld, is coming out on the 12th. Watch it. It is so good. They took all of the, like, bullshit of Sword Art with, like, the Kirito harem kind of thing going on, and, like, focus on the action. Like, give me the best isekai action that you possibly can, and this is it. So I can't wait to see what happens with Sword Art Online Alicization. It's crazy.
That's where it's really good. It's like when it gets into that the gameplay and the gunplay or the swordplay, just like the combat is so well done.
Well,
Characters themselves creepy, but everything else is really good when the actual action is taking place.
Where the story is at now, though, is just insane. There's like this surreal life simulator that Kirito is in. It's no longer the nerve gear. It's like they call it the soul transfer device, and they're reading his actual like brain waves instead of like inputting information to his brain waves. So it's like he's living in real life, but in this virtual world. It's like the Matrix. It's crazy and it's awesome and it's good, and everybody should watch it.
I've read the manga.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Anyway, Grenade doesn't look impressed with Sword Art.
No, he looks like he's ready to talk about something.
No, I'm listening, and like the whole time I'm going in my head through the episodes. Like, I liked the first couple seasons of Sword Art, I really did, but I just couldn't get into the new one. I got to the episode where the guy cut off the guy's arms. I don't want to say a lot, and after that, I just never watched it. I just didn't feel that drawn to it anymore.
So it totally changed with Alicization. Like, the entire premise of the show is so much better than it was. So
yeah, it does get better with Alicization.
They really hit the mark with it. So anyway, that comes out on the 12th, and I cannot wait. I binged all of Sword Art over the last few weeks, and it leaves it a cliffhanger, and I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Just makes me want to watch more .hack.
Right? Where's my .hack? There is no more .hack.
It's more sign in my life.
All those games. I loved everything about .hack.
.hack was
the original
fantastic.
series. Sign is like legit.
Yep.
Oh, it's legit.
The OG isekai, right?
That's like in my top 10 anime right there.
Yeah.
So let's see, in TV shows, we got a short TV show list this week. Your Daily Horoscope coming out on Quibi on the 6th, so tonight. An Ordinary Family is put to the test. Nope, that's the wrong one. Animated show. This is an animated show. It's a short, 5 days a week horoscopes created by Will Arnett. So, should be pretty funny. They kind of touch on what that daily horoscope is in an animated short form content. So that's out on Quibi tonight and 5 days a week.
The fuck is a Quibi, man?
Yeah, what is Quibi?
It's a new short form platform for video content, like YouTube, but you pay for it, and
Sounds like the Vine.
It's not, though. It's not Vine. It's actual like shows and content, but in short form.
So like YouTube, but actual shows.
But actual shows, yeah. It's like what YouTube Originals tried to do. But
failed.
But failed. But Quibi's actually been putting out really good content, and I'm very surprised at that. Let's see. E is coming out with The Soup. I love Joel McHale, and I guess he's back.
Yep.
So E
Soup
has
is good.
The Soup daily talk show with Joel McHale. I enjoyed watching The Soup, actually. Like, I don't watch E, but I'll watch The Soup. Cake Season 3 coming back to FXX, an animated / live action bite-sized comedy all about the senses. It looks like a very cerebral show. So I watched the first few episodes of Cake. It was very interesting to try to get into. You really got to think. Like you might like it because you liked Midnight Gospel, Raccoon.
Oh, that's.
Think of live action with Midnight Gospel, and that's what this is.
That sounds exciting.
Yep. And finally, on HBO Max, Close Enough, a surreal animated comedy about a married couple, their 5-year-old daughter, and 2 divorced roommates living together in Los Angeles. So, it sounds like my everyday life. I kid. I'm not a married couple, nor do I have a 5-year-old daughter or 2 divorced roommates living together.
Speaking of TV shows, before we go any further, I want to put it out there that Raccoon was right. BMO sucked ass.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That makes
it was
me
bad.
so sad.
I didn't like it. And I'm going to put it out there too. Podcast show. I actually sat down and watched like 3 or 4 episodes. Like, wholeheartedly intended on like trying to enjoy it, and I actually did.
Which podcast show?
The Midnight Gospel.
Okay.
So all of us out there who said it was bad, I urge you to give it a second shot because I ended up enjoying it.
Tried 3 times. I don't know if I can.
You
Maybe I'll
got
just
this,
skip
Derek.
episode 1. Maybe I'll just skip
Just
episode
skip episode 1.
We'll see.
Just
Yep.
keep going.
We'll have to
But
do
you
a Midnight Gospel watch night in the Tetrad Discord or something.
Oh hell yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. Let's do it
It was
tonight.
bad. BMO was so bad.
Oh
man.
my.
It was so bad.
Well, speaking of bad movies, coming out in movies, Battlefield 2025, a B-rated sci-fi movie. Alien ship lands and some convicts have to take it out. Definitely B-rated sci-fi at its best. Similar
a
of
sequel
the
to-
Predator.
Is it the Battlefield that came out like what 5 years ago?
I don't think so.
That was a
Just
B-rated movie.
Yeah.
It might be, but anyway, definitely B-rated sci-fi. I love bad B-rated sci-fi though. That's my jam.
Yeah,
But
Starship Troopers.
yes, but that is not B-rated. That is AAA rated.
That is definitely B-rated, but it's good B-rated movie.
I love Starship Troopers. Elvis from Outer Space, another B-rated movie coming out.
That sounds
Alien
interesting.
Elvis takes over Las Vegas.
That
Yep.
sounds super interesting.
Support this.
Like, have you guys ever heard Bubba Hotep?
I've not.
Dude, that's what's his face? Ash Williams from not Ash. Is it Ash Williams? The dude, my boomstick. Fuck, I can't think of the name of it. The chainsaw on his arm. That guy.
Ash Evil Dead.
Yes.
Ash from Evil Dead, yeah.
Yes, he's Elvis, and it's the greatest. I really hope it's just like Elvis from Outer Space. I'm watching it, and I'm doing a review on it.
All right. I look
Awesome.
forward to that next week, Grenade. So that comes out
Down to hear
tomorrow.
it.
Also coming out tomorrow on Video on Demand, a really cool documentary. I don't watch a whole lot of documentaries, but this one actually caught my attention. It's called Game Master, all about the explosion of independent board games and card games out there, like Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens, Settlers of Catan, all of these board games and how they got started and what the industry kind of looks like. So I'm actually really excited to see that documentary because I love Settlers of Catan. Behind me, over that way, I own like every single expansion of it. So you guys should come over and hang out and we'll play some Settlers. Let's
That's
see.
an idea.
That's an idea. All right, Secret Weapon comes out on Video on Demand tomorrow. It takes place in World War II. American soldiers have to find a highly coveted rocket launcher before the Germans get their hands on it. That looks pretty
No,
cool.
is this campy or is this like
No,
supposed to be a serious thing? So is it like
it looked like an indie war film, pretty action-packed though. So from the trailers that I saw, yeah. So it looks pretty cool, honestly. Let's see. Shudder Films, The Beach House is getting released on the 9th. It's a horror where a family goes on vacation to a beach house, and the beach starts infecting the family with crazy, mysterious things. And, like the environment starts attacking people.
the beach is the bad guy now?
The
like this
beach
idea.
is the bad guy. Yes.
Can you get any more not cool?
Wow.
I mean, didn't M. Night Shyamalan do a similar thing though?
Yeah. M. Night
Wait.
Shyamalan's not good at
I
all,
missed that movie. I thought that was the same thing.
right? Is it The Happening? Is it The Happening or the Wanting or something like that?
The Happening.
Man.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's so bad. So bad.
Now, here's a cool sci-fi movie coming out. It's called Archive. Comes out on the 10th on Video on Demand. An engineer builds a robot to hold his dead wife's brain.
Ooh, that sounds
Cool
cool.
with that.
Yeah, it looked really pretty crazy. So, I think Johnny Depp made a movie, Transcendence, kind of similar to that, but
Which is a really
Transcendence,
good movie.
yeah.
Really good movie.
And
I enjoyed
I had low expectations of it and it ended up being really good.
So yeah, Archive comes out on the 10th. Apple Plus has a new Tom Hanks movie written directed by Tom Hanks called Greyhound. A Navy captain in World War II deals with submarines and war in the ocean. So, yeah. I don't know if this was the movie that he was working on out in Australia where he got COVID, but this was probably filmed before that. That's what I'm thinking.
And it's about the first sub that the American military and Navy came in contact with too, which is it looks like it's going to be a good one.
So that's coming out on Apple Plus. Netflix has, drumroll please, The Old Guard.
I'm pretty fucking geeked about this one, man. I really, really, really am. So if you guys don't know it, I thought it was a series, but it's apparently a movie, which I'm like, now I'm more intrigued on it because The Old Guard is about a commander named Andy who literally goes through picking up her group of mercenaries through like time, and it starts back with the Knights and the Templars and stuff like that, and keeps going through. So how they're gonna do this movie kind of just blows my mind. Like, because I know with the commercial I saw, it showed images of them being now, and then images of them being as a Templar, which I'm super geeked about it. But I feel like this is not one of those movies that can be a comics that can be a movie.
So yeah, The Old Guard was a comic series, and then they're obviously making it into a movie now on Netflix. It comes out on Friday, and I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I love Charlize Theron; she's fantastic. But yeah, so my kind of synopsis that I got from the trailer was soldiers who can't die take on an emergency mission and have their special powers exposed to the world. It's kind of what I got from the trailer, but maybe I'm wrong. I didn't get the time travel thing, but we will find out on Friday.
There's no time. I'm not saying time travel. It's like they can't, like I said, they can't die, and that, like, Andy is so old, like she like lives through all these years. That's what I'm saying. Cool. Not time travel.
Let's see. I'm excited about The Old Guard though.
So am I.
It's gonna be real good. We'll watch it together. How's that? Review it next week when we talk about comic books. IFC Midnight coming out with a new movie on Friday called Relic. It's a horror movie all about dementia and going crazy. Looks pretty terrifying. Yeah, really hard subject to tackle with dementia, but from the trailer that I saw, it looks absolutely terrifying. Like, this older lady gets dementia, and it just goes downhill from there. You know, it looks crazy. And finally, in movies, another good sci-fi movies coming out this week. Volition, coming out on video on demand. A man afflicted with clairvoyance tries to change his fate when a series of events leads to a vision of his own imminent murder. Murder.
Before we move on to comic books, Melodap in the chat there just mentioned something I think we should point out. Fallout. They just revealed they're making a Fallout TV show.
Ooh.
Like, do they give you any more information than that? It's a Fallout one. Is it going to be based around 76 or 4 or
it's
Vegas?
Going to take place right before the actual bombs are going off, or at least during the time frame. It's let me get you some more information on it. Trying to pull it up real quick here.
The guys who did Westworld, and that's going to be really good.
It's from Amazon too. So guys, let's see.
That looks pretty decent. I'm excited about that. Yeah. So creators of Westworld. Yeah.
Harsh tone, sprinkled with moments of ironic humor, B-movie nuclear fantasy. So it's going to I think it's going to go back and forth with it. I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very interesting topic, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of backplay between the past and the future, and this guy's life or this girl's life. I'm excited for it. Fallout's always a vast universe.
It is.
As long as they have the music, I don't care.
And I still can't stand Fallout 76, but that's
still a bad game.
Still not a great game.
I know Fallout 76.
Okay. I disagree, but okay.
I gave you BMO and I gave you the podcast show that can Midnight Gospel. I'm not giving you 76 at all.
Just play it with me and I'll show you how to play the game.
No,
I've tried so many times.
I'll show you guys how to play the game. I'll show you how to play it. You got to play it in a different way. So I'll show you guys sometime. Right. I'll stream it for you guys sometime. How about that?
Well, we talked a little bit about the Old Guard. Let's dive into a few comic books coming out. So as I explain every week, I know there's always a whole lot of comic books, but we are focusing on the number ones, like the first releases of comic book series on this list. So I know comic books are ever revolving, and there's always more coming out, but here's the number ones. Deceased, Dead Planet, number 1, sequel to the DC Deceased, right? DC Comics, capital DC. You get it, right? Anti-life equation turned billions into monsters, and our heroes are having to fight against evil to take back a dead planet. In Deceased, Dead Planet, number 1. So, DC fans out there, you might like that. Sound like a Minecraft villager.
Sounds like Marvel's Undead Universe.
It kind of does, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. X-Men, God Loves, Man Kills, extended cut number 1. The uncanny X-Men, Magneto must join forces with his bitterest enemy to take on a new adversary who threatens not only mutant kind, but all of humanity. Yep. New X-Men series coming out. So.
Sounds like X-Men.
Sounds like X-Men. Yep.
Sounds like another like.
You guys sound so excited about these.
X-Men has been trying to reinvent the wheel for so long that I just don't even care about them anymore.
Yep. Let's see. Sonic the Hedgehog Annual 2020 number 1 has the untold tales of the metal virus, where Dr. Eggman unleashes a virus that turns organic life into zombified robots. So
now that sounds interesting.
Sonic the Hedgehog comic book coming out. Pretty cool.
I'd read that.
That does sound actually really cool.
Joker and Harley, Criminal Sanity Secret Files number 1, a one-shot where Harley Quinn is a hunter of 2 serial killers in Gotham City. So, yeah.
Did they mention
Joker and Harley Quinn one-shot?
I haven't been able to look into this at all, but did they mention who the serial killers were? Are they like one-off serial killers? Or are they actually?
I could not find that information in the synopsis.
Okay.
Yep. So
that sounds cool.
But yeah,
Sounds
it's a Joker Harley one shot. And finally, in comic books, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Willow number 1. Buffy the badass vampire slayer goes on a road trip to find herself and runs into a group of lost witches. It's Buffy.
Never read a Buffy comic book in my life.
I've never read a Buffy comic book. I watched the TV series, though.
Yeah, but I do know that I've talked to numerous people about Buffy, the other comics and stuff like that. They're really good.
Interesting. Well,
Penn said he read them. Are they good?
Are they good? Last Pen Fighter, are they good? Joining us in chat. Fortunately, once again, Last Pen Fighter cannot be here live on video. He's recovering from surgery, so... We wish you well, Penn. Come back to us. Come back. We're waiting on Penn. Yeah. Yes, good. They were good. That is what he says. Yes, they were good Buffy the Vampire Slayer comics. So that kind of wraps up our weekly news roundup. I hope all of you enjoyed that. I'm excited about the anime. That's what my most exciting point is.
Yeah,
I love anime.
The anime. The good movies, the enjoyable movies.
Yep. I am an otaku at heart. I haven't left my house in 3 months, and I'm proud of it.
Why am I not surprised? Mortal Shell?
All right, so check it out. Roundtable reviews. We have each reviewed a certain thing, whether it be movies, TV, video games, or Raccoon has a special review this week on some hardware that she recently got. Raccoon, what is your review on?
My review is on 2 pieces of hardware. We have the Alienware 510K and the Alienware 510H. So that is the keyboard and mouse I am currently using. I picked them up this last week. They came out earlier this year, around January. I don't have the exact date in front of me, unfortunately. They are for each piece. We have a 7.1 virtual surround sound headset, and then a MX Cherry low profile mechanical keyboard. high quality with regards to color, aesthetic. Use is quite nice. The actual headset itself has a good sound suppression. You don't hear a whole lot of information outside of it, which is really nice to be able to use during gameplay. In addition, some of the other cool aspects of the headset, for example, is the programming. So because it is a virtual 7.1 surround sound system in there, it does have to have a program you need to download to run it, Alienware Command Center. And the Alienware Command Center itself is a section that lets you control the different profiles, the different settings with regards to the bass, with regards to the treble, the environment. In fact, there's one profile setting where you can actually see on your screen, it overlays where the surround sound is coming from. So you can pick up a visual aspect of the people around you or any sort of movement or hearing, so that gives you that edge in those first-person shooters.
So like Modern Warfare, if somebody's walking behind you, it shows where they're walking.
Yeah, exactly. It helps for people who aren't able to always hear or pick up on that, or say the game's not super good at notifying us in a direct path. In addition to that, the mechanical keyboard itself I've had a little bit longer. I've been using it playing Destiny, playing a few other different games. I tried it out in Crucible. I tried it out in Project Genesis, Delivers to the Moon, GTA. I'm running on a bunch of different things, and I cannot say how much I love the actual use of the keyboard. It's quick. It's not very clicky, not very loud. There's no real issues with regards to its aesthetic. I do have one major complaint for the entire setup, though. When Alienware made this design, they made 3 products. They made the Alienware 510H, the 510K, and then the 610M. Get that. They created a different command center file for each version. Meaning,
oh, weird.
I hate the clickiness. You can get the feel, you get the tactile, but you don't get the sound, which is nice.
Well, don't you need to get like cherry red brown or something for the less clicky sound?
It's cherry red. I'm not sure what brown is. But
cherry reds are fucking amazing.
They're loud but amazing. So I think
Mine's
the different.
Not loud.
I don't know. You're tapping on that keyboard. I hear it.
I'm playing with the back buttons of it. I'm sorry. For my personal use, it's not as loud as I've definitely had keyboards in the past that were not mechanical or had any sort of those effects to them. The time frame between the actual button press and the action is near instantaneous. I never have any issues with delay. Cool. But as I was stating, the programming is where it really falls apart. That's a good review. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate that.
Didn't you have to spend like 6 hours getting your keyboard and headset set up?
Yes, and I still was not able to get it properly done.
Ouch.
So, as I was saying, they each have their own program command center that you have to download and then run. The issue is, since October's update of last year on the keyboard, that's when this was released. The keyboard was released a little bit earlier than that. It broke the software. The keyboard will not function with regards to its lighting setup and its control center at the same time as the keyboard, as the headset, or any other Alienware product you try to attach it to. It just won't work. It will override any of those programs, and you cannot use those other features.
See, that's where like Logitech, I think, excels, is they have their sole one Logitech software that you use, and it connects everything, you know? So
yeah, I feel like Alienware tried to do that, but that's something that they did not capitalize on. They do not update it enough to make sure that it's going to be functional at the place it needs to be. I spent about an hour or so on the phone with Dell themselves trying to get that resolved, just to have it basically tossed in my face that I need to go back to where I bought this because the employees will know what they're doing, and I'm the employee of where I bought this, so I know better than that. So they're not very helpful. Your software support is not there. If you need help with this, you better look finding the information online.
Got it.
In general, I'm happy with my purchase. I'm disappointed in the software issues enough that I actually have contemplated returning the headset and just going with another option entirely. but this virtual surround sound was enough to hold me over, not to go back to any other option. And the price I paid for it was quite astounding. But then again, that employee price is always nice.
Well, so you were testing out the mic with us on that headset earlier, and the mic quality was actually really, really good. I was really surprised in a headset mic to have that kind of quality coming out of it. I know Penn said he didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty good myself. Compared to like Grenade's headset mic, which sounds like crap. Mine doesn't sound that great, but that one actually sounded okay. So
yeah, I didn't realize she switched over.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty intense.
Other cool things to throw out there. It comes with everything you need to use it with, whether you're using a USB, the classical mic and headset ports on a PC, or just the 3.5 millimeter into one of your controllers. Has all of those adapters. You don't need to buy anything extra to make it work with them.
Very nice. So how many raccoons do you give this?
I gave it a solid 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, because of the support issues and the setup
support
issues, right?
and the functionality. Yeah.
All right.
If it supported that, it would have been a solid 4.5 out of 5. But
Cool. Well, before we jump into the next review, I know Penn was really passionate about this real fast, and since he's not able to be here with us tonight, I just wanted to cover it real fast. The Last of Us 2, I know we reviewed it a few weeks ago, but Penn read this article online, I read this other article on BBC, and it's all about the accessibility options in The Last of Us 2, and how there's like 60 different accessibility options for people who can't see colors or have trouble viewing at a distance. You know, the amount of accessibility options in The Last of Us 2 is actually quite astounding. It's probably the most accessible game ever. Like I'll pull up this image real fast. You know, you can change the entire color scheme. Like if you absolutely just can't see, you're able to actually, you know, highlight your characters and turn the background into black and white, and just an insane amount of accessibility options in The Last of Us 2 that I am very impressed that Naughty Dog was able to include all of those in this AAA game like this. So anyway, just wanted to cover that real fast. Penn, anything else you wanted to say about The Last of Us 2 accessibility options? While you're in chat, you're welcome to say some more stuff. But, you know, being able to bring more gamers who haven't been able to play games that in the way that they're able to in the past, I think is really important for moving forward as a gaming community and bringing more people into the fold. So, really cool for Naughty Dog to be able to do that. Grenade, I know you were saying earlier that people are exploiting the accessibility options.
Yeah, for the hearing impaired ones, stuff like that. You brought up one of the 5 or different views you can see. There's one that, you know, when you hold R1 and you can hear and you kind of see like the environment go a little gray and you can see a little light thing for the character. Well, it kind of makes the whole game like that, and you can see everything in the game and where to pick it up at. So people are doing that to 100% the game and get through it quicker, do speed runs. They're using that to see everything so they can avoid them, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. But being deaf in my right ear, I have been playing with a couple of the settings on there, and actually really cool because you can actually have everything coming out. Like I can actually have everything coming out of my left ear, and it sounds like it's 360.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, I'm glad you're able to use some of those accessibility options for that. You know, you're already seeing the positive side of what Naughty Dog was able to include there. Penn said the aim and camera assists are game changers for those with limited mobility, and I totally agree with that. I mean, yes, of course, these accessibility options can be exploited a bit. However, it's not a live service game. You're not actually playing with other people. So, you know, if just for personal satisfaction, I want to turn on all the accessibility options and breeze my way through it, and that's how I enjoy playing the game, so be it. You know, is what it is. So Great job, Naughty Dog. Last of Us 2. Good job on accessibility options. Grenade, you have a TV show you're reviewing for us.
Yeah, you know what? I went into this TV show based off the premise alone that it was going to be bad. Like it was going to be real bad. But I ended up picking it up and watching it. The Warrior Nun. In my head, the only thing I can think of is like one of those campy, really bad television shows, just like a really bad comic vibe. But I started watching it and I really got into it. Like the martial arts in it is legit. Like it's not like that fake flying through the air for 20 minutes and slow fighting. It's legit martial arts and it's really good. The only real problem I had with the story was the main character. Her herself, she's cool. I don't want to really say, like, I don't want to give too much out, but they spent a lot of episodes on the whole, you got to figure out what you want to do with your life type deal. That was the only real drawback that I had. There was like 3 or 4 episodes where they spent on just that alone. But the rest of it, like the whole theory behind heaven and hell and how it works, where they get a lot of their lore from based on how our religion works now. Like it was a super, super fascinating movie. And honestly, it's not one of those shows where you are, because I don't know if it's based on a comic. I didn't dig too much into it. But it's one of those ones where you think the main character is the main character of the show, but it's actually focused on a few people having working parts together at certain times. And they're all kind of like the lead into the show. And it's not just the 3 that's on the trailer. There's quite a bit more in there. They talk about the corruption in the Vatican. They delve into Catholicism with it, and the mind turn at the end, the mind fuck at the end was pretty damn cool. Like that kind of sealed the deal for me. But like I said, the only qualm I really had with it is the whole her finding out who she is.
Interesting.
But that just took too many episodes. It got to the point where I almost turned it off, but I battled through it because I wanted to see what was going to happen to her next. And I guess that's what they did. They gave you just enough information on what's going on the sidelines that it kept you slightly intrigued. But I feel like they could have done more with her, because the whole basic premise behind it is she's got this halo from an angel in her back, and it's basically a supercharged battery. Like they could have grown on that, showed how strong she actually could be, but instead you didn't. You got more of, what should I do now? Should I do this? And she's like narrating to herself the whole time, and it got old. But otherwise, the premise and the story and how they went through heaven and hell and religion and stuff like that was super, super, super rad.
Nice. So the whole Catholicism thing reminds me of a certain magical index.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want, if I start to say kind of like that, it gives away a lot of the storyline, because it's really entwined with it, and that's why I'm like, the whole spoiler free thing was really hard to get around, and I feel like I've already said too much, but it was good. It was super good.
Well, I'm excited to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. It did look cool. That was on my list of like, hey, I want to watch this show. So yes, definitely. How many explosions do you give that?
I'd give it 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. All right, that's highly recommended by Grenade. Cool. I like it. All right, so next we kind of have a trio review of a very cool anime that recently came out. This one is on brand new Animal, Studio Trigger's new anime that just got released to Netflix. I know it's been out in Japan for a while and on simulcast, but finally released to the masses on Netflix. Raccoon, you were the one who said that you mostly wanted to review the show. Let's hear some words.
Well, that's putting me on the spot. I think everyone here has a lot to say about it. And so, based on my personal experience with this show, I enjoyed it from the very beginning. It has a very interesting concept, following a character that is Tanuki, but continues to call herself the raccoon. About a few episodes in, at the very least, she doesn't seem to like being a Tanuki or implied Tanuki-ness of it. To give you kind of a base idea of the plot, she is a human. She is a human that has suddenly found herself among a bunch of beastmen and is trying to figure out what's going on. How can she become herself again? What is going on with the random animal infighting, and what's her place in this whole world of humans versus animals versus animals?
Now,
The character. Go ahead.
what I found really cool was the superpowers that these animals get, like that they kind of augment themselves with abilities, and her being a Tanuki can kind of pull from different powers. So this is one of them, where her arm turns super big. I know that I was really excited that she was able to have multiple superpowers in all of this.
Wasn't that implied, if I may, real quickly, wasn't that implied from the basic understanding that she has, it's a cellular issue? Because of who she is, she can change shapes, and one of the reasons why she struggles to keep her human shape is because of the cellular repetition, and that is what's actually allowing her to grow, not the fact that she's a Tanuki herself.
Possibly. Yeah. I don't know if I read into it that much, but that's a good analysis of it.
I remember them saying something about like the Beastman itis was part of that whole, because she wasn't born a Beastman. She was, and that's it's the same on par with what Raccoon was saying. That they said it in like third or fourth episode when she kind of started going off on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I loved the show because, like, I like the when you can write a show about one person, but there's multiple different heroes in it that don't overshadow the main character or the shows or the actual hero, but it puts them on par with the hero and kind of gives homage to everybody. And they did that really well with this. On top of the colors, I have not seen an anime with colors like this. And how
you haven't watched Pro Mare?
No.
Studio Trigger's movie that they came out with? Oh my god. Yeah, very similar art style.
It was so intense, and like I had a good time watching the show all the way through. I liked when she figured out her powers. What she did with it was friggin' rad. The Silver Wolf, that part of that story itself too was quite. I would put that with like maybe top 5 stories of heroes out there for me. I really like the story of the Silver Wolf.
It was a very good show. If you enjoy eccentric art style, Studio Trigger, they did the recent movie that came out, Pro Mare. They did Kill la Kill. They have this extreme eccentric art style is the best way I can describe it, and they definitely brought that to this. Now, Studio Trigger, what I did hear, is doing a Cyberpunk 2077 anime. Which comes out in 2022, I think, but they're working on it. So if you enjoyed this art style, imagine that art style mixed with Cyberpunk, and I can't wait to see what they do with it.
I don't think I would like that art style with Cyberpunk, man. I would like it to be more online with, like, did you see what was it, the
Altered Carbon?
Yes, thank you. You're reading my mind.
Yes,
that's what I feel like Cyberpunk should be like. It's more like the Altered Carbon anime.
So while I entirely agree, that's a great aesthetic. The fact that they're going with Studio Trigger and the bright colors and the great schemes of just like contrast ratios, and it would be incredibly interesting to see how that reflects in the neon cities of the environment, and then of course in the dust and in the desert that also encircles the entire civilization, and every bit of the action. It would be amazing if they take a more serious approach to it, add a few more layers of black, some dark. It could be very good if they go comic book aesthetic with this.
And I got to see an interview during the Anime Expo Light about the emphasis and everything that they're putting behind the Cyberpunk show, and it looks like they're going to do it justice, from what they were saying and how they were talking about it. So I can't wait till Cyberpunk comes out. It should have already been out, but delay after delay after delay. It hurts. I just want a good sci-fi game.
I've been waiting on this game since the very first teaser, and then trailer, and then the information right before that, and then the interview with Cyberpunk's 2022's game creator, and all of that so many years ago, and now it being coming so close, and then them crushing my dreams a little bit by getting rid of wall running, but still so close. It's so exciting.
How many stars? I don't know, explosions, raccoons, or chocobos do you give BNA?
It has a raccoon or tanuki. It's 5 out of 5.
It's 5 out of 5 for raccoon grenade.
I give it 5 beeholes.
All right. And I, of course, give it 5 chocobos because it was an amazing show. If there's one anime that you watch this year, I would say BNA would be it. Like, it is such a good show for being 12 episodes long. Like, they pack so much in there, and they definitely fulfill all the storylines, and I didn't really see any plot holes or anything. So, very impressed with BNA. Go watch it. Let's see. What do I have to review this week? Hyperscape. Oh man. There's two of me on the screen. What am I gonna do? I'll cover myself up there. So Hyperscape is Ubisoft's new battle royale game, and they're taking a different approach with it, where you have powers similar to like Overwatch, but you have to pick up those powers on the map as if they were the guns in Modern Warfare. So you get abilities, you have guns. Now, the thing that kind of sets this apart, though, is instead of a ground war, it's more of a vertical war. Like, this is probably the most fast-paced first-person shooter that I have ever played. Like, it felt like Quake mixed with Titanfall, mixed with Modern Warfare. It was so fast paced. It's really hard to like wrap your brain around it in a short amount of time. But really cool abilities that you get. When you die, you can still ping the map. You still run around. You have to get to a spawn point where your teammates go to that spawn point and pick you up. But I'll walk through some of these abilities. There's like invisibility, armor, health, teleport, slam, where you go really high up in the air and slam. Really cool abilities that really make that vertical world possible, where it's really easy to get from the ground of the world up to the top of a building. And it's like not an issue. And so the map is really big. The map also breaks apart as you're going through it, similar to like the gas in Modern Warfare, but instead it like desynthesizes because you're in a virtual world. So different guns. This is in early access beta right now, but this is the new hot thing on the market. And this is kind of going to send us into our big subject of the night. Right now, the only way to get a beta key is through a Twitch drop. And what that means is you have to watch a partnered streamer who's playing this game, who has Twitch drops enabled, and then you watch it for a certain amount of hours, and then you finally get a key to the game. And I really, sure, it brings the element of hype around the game. It also brings FOMO, which isn't necessarily a great thing. But what about the smaller streamers? I mean, you're leaving the rest of us out of this entire thing. If it was enabled for everybody playing the game, I know Valorant, they started with just big streamers, then opened it up to anybody playing the game, enabled Twitch drops. But I don't know how I feel about this whole Twitch drops thing. And so that kind of brings us into our big ticket discussion of the night, which is the business of video games, talking about DLCs, microtransactions, loot boxes, Twitch drops, and what the future of video games kind of looks like. So we'll preface it with that, with the Twitch drops. How do you guys feel about this whole Twitch drops thing?
I don't agree with it at all.
I disagree. I agree with Twitch drops. And the reason why is because of the second thing you said. Because they opened it up for other streamers to share that. That is creating the experience that not only benefits the small-time streamer who's trying to play the game, looking for those views, wanting to enjoy it with them, and then also benefits the people watching them. Give them a reason to watch it. It doesn't always have to be a time like, oh, watch this video for 7 hours or 22 hours. There should be like a time set amount you need to reach.
Well, so right now it's completely random.
That's trash.
And like with Hyperscape, it's only available to the Ubisoft partnered streamers, which is terrible. That's not okay for the rest of the Twitch community.
That's why I don't agree with it, man. It's horrible because not one, these guys, I was reading the whole article on it, all these like Tfue and was it Smythe or whatever his name was, they've been playing this game for the past month on an NDA. To make us, I don't want to go watch any of these guys at all. I'd rather spend my time in someone else's channel that I enjoy watching, who has 1 or 2 people in it that I can actually talk to.
Yeah.
With these big ass dudes, I don't fucking care about watching them. And the fact that you have to sit there and, like I said, like you guys said, it could be an hour, it could be 3 hours. I know that I started my stream when I went to bed with the volume on, and when I came back in the morning, I sat down, I didn't have it. Like 5 minutes after that, I had it. So it was almost 8-9 hours that I didn't get that Twitch drop. So I would have had to sit there and watch it. And I don't agree with that. I think what they need to do is at random, anybody who has the Ubisoft app, throw them a beta code to let them play, let them stream it. I don't care if it's one person who has like 1 view or 2 viewers. They should give that chance to everybody, except for these people who already have 15K people in their chat. You know what I mean?
Now, overall, I like the idea of Twitch drop, only because it does bring hype to a game. But if it was enabled to the whole community, I think that would be a very different story. And right with game developers, them doing these drops as stress tests, they don't want to just have everybody jumping on this game at once. They want to ramp it up. Like, that's the whole point of doing the Twitch drop, is because it allows that ramp up. As more people are getting codes, they're seeing more of their server being used. So
you're playing devil's advocate now, though.
I am because
that's literally big streamers getting bigger. That's all that really is. Give it to somebody else who doesn't have it. Give it to a raccoon. Give it to a pen fighter.
And that's why, when Valorant first started, they got all this flack with, well, Twitch drops are only for these partnered streamers, and then they opened it up to everybody, which I had people watching my channel in order to get a Twitch drop, and they did. That was really cool. Like, my channel was able to get a drop.
Yeah, but that was after a month of it being only partnered streamers.
And so I feel like that needs that mentality of, oh, it's just the partnered streamers, needs to change from these companies. Like, that's not okay to leave the rest of us in the dust.
No, absolutely. I entirely agree with that. My statement is simply this, that the idea behind it, the Twitch drop idea, is incredibly useful. It's about the implementation of it, and they're not implementing it right at this time. They implement it right towards the end of Valorant, though it's still not perfect. There shouldn't be a random time. I don't agree with that at all. That's basic, not good.
Yeah, because you're literally like, when people want a game, like say I'm Raccoon's doing art in her channel, or she's trying to play the game, but I want this game. I literally have to log into this other person's channel or 7 other channels just to get it. Like, that takes away from the smaller viewers, which is that whole thing about, you hear it all the time, Twitch doesn't care about low-level streamers. They don't care. And that right there just proves it to you. Like, they're literally trying to get people to play a new game that's hyped up because you got to watch a big fucking streamer. What Destiny did with Twitch drops, though, I 100% agree with, because I was able to go into Raccoon's channel and drop 2 subs on her channel just to get a fucking shader and emblem, something I could keep around for a long ass time. You know what I mean? On something that I care about. That right there, I agree with, because what that's doing is it's taking anybody who has the ability to stream and put an overlay on their channel. It's bringing them a little bit of revenue. This is just bringing big streamers revenue.
Yep.
You know, and the best part about it is you had the big streamers like Chevy, Glad, and all these guys. They were sitting there going, "Hey, go make someone's day. Go jump into their chat and gang up with your fire team and go to this person's chat and drop 2 subs each so you guys can get your stuff." You know, and that was like spreading the wealth around the entire community. This is like, how many people started off? Three people started off with this game that were able to stream it and drops.
Yep.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's not great implementation. The implementation definitely needs to be done. So,
right.
Anyway, so Twitch drops are a thing, and I think that they're going to be a thing to come. I don't know how it's going to evolve. I hope it evolves in a way that can support the entire community, such as what Destiny did, instead of how it's being implemented right now by these companies, which is just not great.
It's not a healthy situation.
So
sorry.
No,
Keep
continue.
going.
I was gonna move on.
When Riot did it with Valorant, man. That actually, partners were doing some shitty ass stuff too. Like there was a guy that wears the mask. He was running reruns on his stream for 24 hours just to keep viewers in his channel and subs up. Yeah. And the worst part about it is nobody fucking tells you how to do it. The streamers won't tell you because they're gonna want the people to come in. Oh, I got to sub to this guy to get this possibly, or it's going to help me, or I have to follow this guy, I have to donate to this guy. They're not the ones sitting there telling you, hey, go to this channel, do this, do that. Like, or they don't even have anything in the fucking stream saying that. Like it's promoting unhealthy tactics with partners. The rich get richer. And that's literally what they're doing. If that were me, I'd be like, hey, this is all you got to do is just sit in the channel when your drop's done, or like sign in with the Riot. Yeah, you're good. You don't need to sub. You don't need to do that. But they're not telling these people this. Because those people wouldn't be there if they didn't have to. Some of those people, you can't tell me that 15,000 people are there because they want to be there. You know what I mean?
I was only in like Dr. Lipo's channel for just to get the drop and then quit. Like, okay, I got it. I'm done. I'm never going to go back to this channel again.
Yeah, but you figured it out though. What about the people who don't?
Well, I mean, so the Ubisoft website is obviously the place to go, but not everybody's going to do that. On there, it just says, watch a stream. It doesn't say anything about subs, about follows, nothing. It just says, watch one of the streams that has drops in it.
Do you know how vague that is, though?
I mean, it's literally just watch. Like, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Which
people are going to want to go in there thinking, like, they could do anything to possibly get it. Like, they need to be a little bit more precise about that stuff. It's literally, I feel like it's shitty corporate and shitty streamer tactics, honestly. I really do. And that's my opinion. If you don't agree with me, I apologize, but I feel like that's
I do. It takes advantage of people. It absolutely does.
Exactly.
It's the FOMO mentality, and I don't think that that's the right way to be handling it at all. Companies, what are you doing? What are you doing? So speaking of companies doing tactics that aren't great, microtransactions and loot boxes. Now, just this last week in the UK, they just passed legislation categorizing loot boxes as actual gambling. I know that this has been going around for a while, but it finally got passed saying that loot boxes are officially gambling, at least in the UK, and fall under gambling laws. So, because of that, I don't know if necessarily loot boxes are going to stay around anymore. I think it's going to be microtransactions where you know exactly what you're getting for spending this amount of money.
It should have been like that since the beginning, though.
That's what it was. And then somebody got the good idea. It's not a good idea. I mean, it's a profitable idea.
Good idea. They got the good idea fairy visited them.
Yeah. Like Overwatch. I remember when I first started playing that game, and I was like, loot boxes. It took them 2 or 3 years just to put it in there to where it was, if you already have something, there's a chance that you're not going to get it. But I remember I opened up 3 loot boxes in a row that had all the same shit in it.
Yep.
And I paid money for that. I mean, that's ripping people off, if you ask me. Like, and now it's deemed in the UK as gambling. What's that say for all the people who are have the game who are underage and still have their mom's card to it? Like, what's going to happen? Like, are they going to tax it? Are the kids going to get in trouble for it?
Well, and because of that, that's why loot boxes I don't think are going to be a thing, because that is illegal to gamble under the age of 18 or 21, whatever it is in the UK. And
they would have to change their rating on the games.
They would either have to change the rating on the game to be 21 plus that has gambling in it, or take out loot boxes entirely. Now, speaking to your point, I read this thing on Candy Crush, this article that came out that this older dad who doesn't do online banking finally signed up for online banking, and his daughter was playing Candy Crush and spent $5,000. No, not a Candy Crush. It was Roblox. Spent $5,000 on Roblox. Luckily, the developer of Roblox, they refunded the whole thing and are like, hey, I didn't know that my daughter was doing this. Like, I thought it was a one-time $5 purchase. And so, at least a company like that was able to be like, okay, we get it. Like, we're going to refund you. But, it does come down to the responsibility of the parents to put those blocks and parental controls on the game.
Yeah. You know what? Like, you could say that all you want till you're blue in the face, but the company's intent is for those little kids to have mom's debit card on their Xbox.
It is
that's not. They're not going, we need to take action against this, and we're going to take this out so we know that little kids can't screw their parents over. They're counting on that, man. They're counting on that. It's just like the whole Twitch drop thing. They're counting on it to happen.
And so I'm interested to see where loot boxes and microtransactions are going to be going here in the near future, because obviously video game developers are in it for the money, right? Like, it's not a nonprofit. They're in it for the money. So they're going to do whatever tactic it takes to get that money. But at the same time, let's be honest and upfront about this stuff. Like the tactics that are happening right now aren't the best.
So,
Did Destiny had like a loot box system idea, didn't they?
they did.
And then they got rid of it. Yeah, they got rid of it.
So that's something I wanted to mention. So we can use Destiny as an option, just really quickly, because it's part of the grand scheme of things. So Destiny did have a loot box system where you could buy 3, 6, or 9 of those like
Eververse
engrams, which gave you like options for ornaments, things like that. It still was aesthetic and did not have an effect on your gameplay, but nonetheless, it was at random. You could end up with stuff that was unnecessary and no good, or just bright dust, right? No one likes getting bright dust and shaders that are 110 times.
I hated it.
Yeah. So now you still get those, but they're part of an entire like season pass, and you don't pay for them. But you can pay for what you want. You buy what you want. And microtransactions in those cases are healthy for the developers. They are not bad things. They give us more cool things that we can get, and they give the developers more funds to make the cool things.
And it's not necessarily causing, allowing OP weapons to be purchased. I mean, it is all just skins and cosmetic items, right?
Yeah.
Like, sure, you can get a really fast sparrow, but okay, that's still a cosmetic item.
Same color, same sparrow as everyone else's.
Nothing in Destiny is game breaking to where it's
and I think Call of Duty has followed that same suit, where they have their store screen, sure, but there's never a loot box on there. Sure, they have their season pass, which is what we're going to get into next, is season passes. But you know exactly what you're getting and what you're purchasing for it. The store screen updates 3 times a day with new loot, but you know what you're getting, you know what you're purchasing. And so I think that they took that loot box thing into account when making that store.
Yeah, but the Call of Duty store though isn't like, I feel like, and I'm not saying this because I'm an avid player of it. I feel like Destiny has got it right because it's literally just cosmetic items. In Call of Duty, yeah, there's a few of those fucking guns that they're selling that are too fucking strong. I've been mowed down by a couple of them. Yeah, no, not blueprints. You actually buy and get the gun.
Oh.
And they mow you down fast, versus anything you can earn. I mean, you can earn them. Like, I think Duflanky one time said that he could build one of the SMGs in the game, but I don't know about that 100%, but I do know that there are guns that will mow you down that you pay money for in that game.
What were you going to say, Raccoon?
A good example of this, that we can go outside a little box here. I used to be a big time player of Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's something that was recently mentioned in the chat here. Now, that game, I've been around since it was, pay monthly, right? That game has been around a very long time, and it is very good.
I
and
have
they
played it
continue
since
to
the
release
beginning as well. Yes.
fantastic content. And a lot of that fantastic content is because people spend major money to continue getting all of the free stuff, getting this quick stuff, getting the things that make you level faster, things that level you up faster, the gear, the cosmetics, and such like that. And that is where you're coming close to a line. So at the same point as it offers you the ability to play all of this great stuff, and another good example is Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder Scrolls
Does the
Online,
exact
yeah.
same thing, same exact issue. These are things that are affecting gameplay, giving us great content, but we're still getting charged for it, and are negative to the general impact of the game for other people, because those are games that you can play PvP. Those are games that you can play that are meant to be grinded out, and it slows the progression so vastly if you're not spending this money on it.
Sure. I experienced that in ESO.
Yeah, ESO, Star Wars The Old Republic, I've played that game so many times, so many paths, and I absolutely love what they've done. But the microtransactions are unhealthy. Almost everything that you can want after a certain point is hidden behind those transactions.
And that includes the DLCs. So moving on to the next point, DLCs in games, where you take a game like, I'm always gonna say it, but Ocarina of Time. Imagine if Ocarina of Time had 6 DLCs.
I'd buy them.
Well, of course you would buy them, but like, if you had to unlock the water temple as a DLC and it wasn't included in the main game,
that's different. That's different. You're playing off two different things. The Ocarina of Time, as initial game, had a complete fucking storyline. Now the DLCs would be adding to that, which would be cool. Nowadays, you don't get a complete storyline. They build this entire game and then they cut it to sell that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if Ocarina of Time you could only play as a child, and then you had to purchase DLC in order to play as the adult? That is what games look like today, and I hate it. I cannot stand it. Stop it.
Yes.
That's
yes.
It's gotten to the point of being ridiculous.
It's like a God of War 5. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Raccoon. Sorry.
It's totally fine. So it doesn't matter if it's a fighting game, racing game, RPG, online MMO. It does not matter. It is hitting every genre. You can only play up to this point of the game, where everything at the end of it you need to buy, right?
Yep.
The story does not end at a proper point.
Now,
you are expected to have purchased this next step.
I can understand live service games selling expansion passes for new content, because that content hasn't been created. That is new content, new story. Sure, like, I get that.
Final Fantasy 14.
But DLCs, I think have just gotten over the top. Like, you mentioned Elder Scrolls Online earlier. In order to unlock the dungeons that are already in the game, you have to either pay for those dungeons and buy them, or pay for the $15 a month subscription in order to play the dungeons that are in the game, but aren't unlocked for you because they're locked behind a paywall. And it's stuff like that is this, like, almost predatory tactic on people that I feel like is just going to get worse.
It is.
It's only going to get worse.
With this COVID thing happening, people being in, like, you got to look at it this way. Like, everything revolves around it now. People are stuck inside all the time. It's like, you can't go somewhere. You can't buy a PlayStation. Fuck, it was hard for me to buy a gaming chair. So that just tells you how many people are inside playing games. And at that point in time, companies will be like, it's our time to shine. Let's make a game that's 20 minutes, make a DLC that's 20 minutes, and keep charging them $70. And did you guys see that you can start jacking up game prices too to $69 instead of $59?
I know. Well, okay, but we don't know if that's true or not. Sure, the new 2K21 is $69.99 base price. Now that's the only game that we've seen at that price as of yet. But yes, that is potentially what's going to be happening.
It's going to happen, but if it works because people buy the game, other companies will follow suit. It's It's a fucking issue. Like one game, Fortnite, they had the battle pass. Destiny's got the battle pass 2 seasons later.
It's good.
Call of Duty has the battle pass 2 seasons later. Like it sets trends. If it works, everything will go this way.
Battle pass. I want to make a quick comment before we continue. There, battle passes are not a bad thing.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I like the idea of them.
And as long as it only unlocks cosmetic content, though. If it's unlocking game-breaking things that you have to play this much in order to get this game-breaking item, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
but as long as it's cosmetic stuff or like in-game currency stuff, sure, whatever.
I feel as long as you're able to unlock it, even if it takes a good amount of time,
Right.
it is okay. Now, something I really quickly want to point out. Last Pinfighter said something in the chat here. Blaming the consumer, 100%. Yes. As long as we are willing to buy it, they are willing to sell it.
Exactly, but you're gonna go anywhere else to buy it?
No, because we're willing to do so.
Exactly. Like
But
they have.
look at what happened with Anthem, though. Right?
Yeah,
like, people hated it and said, I want my money back. This is a shit game. And they
how many
had to
people
listen.
actually got refunded? I didn't get mine refunded.
Did you send a
tried.
refund request?
I did.
I did.
But the thing is, like us as consumers, like, you can't go out and code a video game that's a AAA game. None of us here can. But we do it because they can. They're able to. Now, if we're to sit up like he said earlier, I saw like enough is enough. That'll help. It's also going to stop you from playing games as well. You know what I mean? Like if I were to go fuck Destiny, I'm done with this $40 every 3 months thing. If everybody else followed suit, they would probably go back to something completely different. Which they are, because people don't like it and they bitched about it enough, but people were still buying it. People aren't opening their mouths about it. That's the big issue. If we continue to like EA, you're never going to change EA's mind. They're Enron, or was it Enron? Enron. They're Enron, man. Like they're gonna do the same thing to keep money flowing in. You could talk until you're blue in the face, but it's not going to change their tactics because they know they have that market cornered. You want a good sports game? EA is the way to go. They're going to charge you. You know,
there's no other options.
Now, with
that's the problem. There's no other options.
With season passes, what I have mixed feelings on season passes, but I understand that it's rewarding a player who plays a lot, and that's great. Like, feeling that achievement as a player. What I appreciate more is games that, if you buy the season pass or battle pass, whatever, getting a login reward, I think is cool. But I don't know how I feel about the login reward only if you're paying for the season pass.
I like Call of Duty's battle pass, Destiny's battle pass. I've never played Fortnite with their battle pass, but I like their ideas of battle pass. Like Raccoon said earlier, 100%, I agree with it. Granted, if I pay for the battle pass, I get, say, a sword at level 5. But if I don't pay for it, I get it at level 20. And if you put time into it, you could still get it. Like, that to me is cool because you don't have to buy it.
Now, what I liked about the Call of Duty Battle Pass is that the rewards, if you play enough, you can always get the next Battle Pass.
Exactly. I haven't paid for a Battle Pass since season 1.
And I like that mentality about it.
Yep.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a very solid idea that other game developers will take notice of, and because it works out so well, implement it, right? So we got to support with our pocketbook the things we want to see, not the things we don't want to. Now, that's very hard because a lot of those big name developers that are doing all these toxic things are creating the games we love. Like, literally, absolutely love. I know so many people who love NBA 2K, NFL 2K, all of those games, and they're going to buy them. They're going to buy them no matter if they're $60 or $100 or $200.
Or wait for the sale.
Matter.
But then it's the FOMO thing, right? Like, I want to play this now. I don't want to pay for it next year when they already have another game coming out.
But that's the issue too. Is Raccoon's 1010% right too. I mean, if you take people who are living from paycheck to paycheck, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this game's $100. Fuck it, I'm not paying another game for a long time. I'm gonna be the only one playing this game." Other companies are gonna suffer because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so what they need to do is just bring it down to a normal level, to where people can afford it. These big ass companies need to quit buying out these little companies, because some of these little companies have made some of the best games of all time. Like, but I get it. Everything's backed by money.
Yep.
You know.
And that's what it comes down to, I think, is that all of this, like I said earlier, isn't for nonprofit. Like, these game developers are in it for the money. Granted, most of them, not a cash grab, but to make something that they love and deeply care about. Some of them are obvious that it's just like, I just want to make money off of this and don't want to really support the community behind it, and I will do whatever it takes, whatever toxic behavior it takes to make money. And I think it's identifying those games and those developers and us as consumers saying, no, I've had enough.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
But here's another good point. Lost Pinfire made it again here real quickly. As long as the AAA developers, I'll read exactly what he said. Here's what Lost Pinfire said. Here is the biggest point. The AAA publishers do a good job using streamers, media, word of mouth to make you feel like you're missing out if you don't pony up. And that's exactly true. We are constantly in a state of, oh God, there's Cyberpunk 2022, or 2077, but next year there's going to be something that everyone's looking forward to just as much. In the following year, in the year after that, in the months after that, and we're continuously expected to pay and pay and pay and pay. The same thing with DLCs. Like, if you're not going to go up to the next state, then you're not going to be able to play with your friends. You're going to feel left out. You're not going to be able to enjoy the content that they are now enjoying, and you're going to feel like you're removed from it. You're ostracized per se, and that's not any good either. Like, we don't want that type of environment. The issue is the companies know this. Mm-hmm. They know you're going to buy it, and that's what they survive this on. There's not much we can do outside of just keep on paying, unless we change the game economy entirely, and that would take a massive upheaval of people just saying finally, like you said, no more.
No more. Enough is enough. And so, Raccoon, how do you feel about like games as service season passes? Like what Destiny is doing, right? Where they already have this idea of the story and how it's going to go. They're obviously pulling from stuff and ideas that they had previously and are finally implementing it. Is that okay behavior for a game developer to say, here's this content and we're going to be splitting it into 3 separate season passes and you have to buy each one?
No, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
So if this is an established idea in the game, this was figured out, this was part of the game, this is in the code, for example, already in that said game, then there's no reason why they should be charging you for it. If it's already in something you paid for, though technically we never own any game content, we're just renting it.
We're just renting it with a license
from the actual people. We don't own anything anymore. Even the physical hard disks are just disks. The content on those disks we don't own. And that's an important thing that we can go back to what was it? There was an old program, Adobe Photoshop, and just something to throw out there real quick, which you literally cannot use stuff that you paid for that's an old version without breaking their law. Basically, they can sue you for it. So
it's true. With Photoshop now, you used to buy CS1, CS2, CS3, CS5, and now it's all just Adobe Creative Cloud. And you have to pay a monthly subscription for it. There is literally no way just to buy the program anymore, I think.
Yeah, they changed it that way so that they can continuously make a profit. That's live service again, right back to the same problem. They are wanting you to continue to pay. It's why there's so many games out there like that now. It's why there's so many games that are not just you pay for it one time You get the game, you complete the game, maybe there's an expansion, and then that's it.
Yep.
You move on to the next game, you move on to number 2, you move on to number 3. They're making years later, and it's solid, good, unique world that is fully completed, right? That does not exist for the most part outside of indie games and a rare AAA game every once in a while. You got games like maybe Ratchet and Clank, God of War would probably be about the only ones I can really think of off the top of my head.
Speaking of Horizon Zero Dawn, which I felt like was a very complete game.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to be giving that away tonight, but
like I said, I'll even drop it down to 15. Or did I say 15 or 20? Which one did I say?
I think you said 20.
20? I'll drop it down to 15 if someone wants to do it tonight. But two things. Sorry. I was minding my business. Horizon Zero Dawn, their DLC and their story, that's how a game should be. It was a complete story, complete game, and they brought more into it, which was cool. You brought up Destiny earlier, right?
Yep.
They do the season, like I happen to believe that Bungie's very fair sometimes. Most of the time, I feel like they're fair. Like with the raids, say they're recycling old Vault of Glass, right? That right there, you don't have to buy the season pass for it. You got to buy the expansion, which has more to it, but you don't have to have the season pass to play that. None of the raids, none of the stuff in it, you have to have the season pass. You only have to buy the season pass for the seasonal stuff, like
Sure.
right now, which I believe is fair because that's content they're putting in the game for us to play to keep us busy. Whereas in the raids and stuff like that are there because they're there and you own that part of the game, or you're renting that part of the game, I guess.
And I do feel like that live for service games are a little different than a standalone game like Horizon, right?
I think that's it. Go ahead, Clink.
It's just a differentiation to be able to say, here's a live for service game, which may be okay to cut some content out for us to buy later because it makes hype around it, whatever, versus a standalone game where they've purposefully cut content to be able to sell me later.
Yes, absolutely. And I've played games like what is being discussed in the chat there, where it's literally you pay for you get 4 chapters free, and then you pay for the next 7 chapters. I play choose your own adventure stories every once in a while. Read, play, whatever you want to call it with that.
Like Life is Strange, right? You had to buy all the chapters for it. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, again, a very interesting concept, but the game itself costs almost nil. So you're getting a lot of content for a base. You're getting the full game for the same price. You're paying for all of the pieces by themselves over time. So it's not an investment at first. It's an investment over a period. Something I really quick one go back to with Destiny real quick without going too much into the game itself is Destiny is a great example of how not to do things too. Destiny itself was spread out. The original concept, you can go back to the information from the previous, before Destiny 1 was released and what the game it was. It's literally Destiny 1, Destiny Taken King, Destiny 2, Destiny, every expansion since then. That was all supposed to be combined into one solid Destiny 1 experience that was trashed and then cut up into pieces to release over time. That's exactly the problem. That is not something that's healthy. And I only support it now because it is so good now, but it is not the way to do things.
Yep. Like right now, if they decided suddenly tomorrow, we're going to make Destiny 3 instead of doing what we said, just as a cash grab to have people pay $70 for a new game, I don't know how I feel about that. And then have to buy the season pass and the expansion and everything else on top of that again.
Oh yeah, and then you're just going to get your weapons back slowly over time for the next 5 years. But the content will only be the stuff from Destiny's fall expansion spread out over 3 different expansions for Destiny 3. That's Destiny 2 in a nutshell. Yeah, but I love the game, so it's hard to pull away, and that comes into the other category where our communities are so entwined into the lore, into the fun, into the experience, that even when they do something so toxic and so unhealthy, there's no way I'm going to get away from it. There's no way I'm going to stop paying for it. Even if they did that with Destiny, you would probably find me buying the expansions because I want that experience. Go ahead, Grenade.
With that, I don't want to go too much into the game, but I feel like the whole bringing back weapons, I don't think that was their original intent. I think they only did that because people were bitching so much. Like if you remember,
Just
the
an
game didn't
example.
start. Yeah, it did start off machine guns. People love their machine guns. They brought those back. And as far as building the whole game prior, I feel like they may when they took it to the drawing boards, that it was like that with the whole game all together, with the whole story of everything from beginning to end, and they need to make it a 10-year contract, so they split the game up from there. I don't think that they did it intentionally on purpose. I think they made it to where it could be Destiny 1 and 2, but
I wish
I
that
don't
was the
know.
case. I really wish that was the story room case. You can find articles on it from back then. They literally were like, hey, there's this awesome game. It's cheesy as freak. We're not going to go with it. And then we're going to go with it over time and throw out the original creator. So that's basically what happened with it. That's the rough truth of it.
Which is what happens when you have a big company like Activision running things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a good situation, but that really falls on Pete Parsons and Luke Smith.
So what do you think the future of video games looks like for the business of games?
More live service, more live service. There's going to be down to a time frame. 2 years, 5 years from now, we're going to find ourselves playing live service that's single player games, right? You're going to have all of this single player content, and then you're going to wait monthly, and you're going to pay monthly just to get another chapter, another chapter, another chapter, and then might drop off, microtransactions, so you can get a special weapon for this chapter, or things like that. It's just going to be the default.
Which, I mean, companies are already doing, where you can buy the pre-purchase deluxe gold whatever and get some sort of boost. You get extra boosts at the beginning of the game for unlocking stuff earlier. I mean, that's already a thing.
Yes.
But I do feel like that live service thing is going to happen. We're going to see it more and more.
The ones that are really going to shine are the ones that are thinking outside the box. Because the live service, when that came out, that was thinking outside the box at the time, and that's where it shined. Destiny was like I said, Bungie was the innovator of that, kind of the innovator. I don't want to say they are the innovator. And look how it popped out. You got The Division. You got, what are other live service games? Anthem. That crashed though because there was no content to play. I mean, that was mainly
Fallout
the biggest thing.
76.
I thought you said Fallout 76 was a good game.
It is a good game. I'm just telling you, live service games. Now, here's the difficulty with this. This is not Destiny's invention. This goes back to MMOs. This all comes from the original idea of an MMO, and everyone loved the freaking idea of just paying for it. Paying this amount of money, you get my game, and I keep getting money from you every month. Like, you buy the game, and you keep paying for the game monthly. So not so we have to run our servers as much anymore, but because we can keep getting profit off of it. That's where MMOs inspired it, and people took it to way too far, and now it's going into a toxic level. Yeah.
So I do think we are going to see more microtransactions, more of these season passes, battle passes, and let's hope that us as consumers can identify that stuff and not miss out on FOMO, but wait maybe to buy a game until it's on sale. I don't know. Hard to say.
With the whole future gaming, I'm not gonna say I don't see. I see a lot more live games coming this way, because I totally do. But I also see that there's gonna be more single player games too. Like I said, COVID was the whole wrench in the system. I mean, if you look back 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I would have said, fuck yeah, dude, that's all we're going to see is live service games. But you got a lot more people jumping into gaming now. Look at the sales of like Last of Us. I mean, people were pissed about that. Look at other single player games. They're starting to thrive again. I mean, I personally myself, I like single player games because I don't have to sit there and sweat it out with other people. Because it gets old. It gets fucking old after a while. Look at Horizon Zero Dawn. That game itself was so good, and it was a single player game. Look at Persona 5, Persona 4. What were the sales of Persona 4 when it got re-released?
I don't know. I haven't looked, but I mean, like I love that game.
And the worst part about it, if you would ask me last year what my top 5 games of the year were, every single one of them were single player games. You know what I mean? I think people are just playing live service games. Yeah, they could be good, but they're playing it to play with the friends all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we all grew up with the whole single player games. Then we get to play your games with your friends all the damn time. And it's cool for a while. But honestly, there's a lot of times I'd rather go back to single player games. And I feel like a lot of people
Raccoon
are
looks like she has
thinking that
something
way.
to say.
I have something to say on that one. So the issue here is I prefer live service, by the way, simply because it creates a community, it's experience instead of just a storybook. My problem directly with single player games is there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. People like being able to play a game that they buy for $60 and not have it end like tomorrow, not have it be 3 days and then be done with it. A good example is Outer Worlds. Fucking love that game. But if I had more DLCs, if I had an experience where I could play with friends and just run through those worlds shooting people all the time, hell yeah, I'd be more down to play that game more often. Live service offers an experience that you cannot get from single player games. You can get single player game experiences from a live service game. It's not unnecessary. You can totally do that with your best friends, or you can do it by yourself. Destiny is a good example. You can play through the entire story by yourself and have a single player continuous what have you. So it's just something to think about.
Well, we will see what the future of the business of games looks like here in the next coming years. I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, we're all avid gamers, and I just hope that my wallet doesn't hate me after this. So, hey, check it out. We're going to be answering your guys' questions here shortly. So, Q&A, please rack up those questions. If you want to ask us something personal, if you want to ask us something about the topic that we had, I know that throughout the episode we don't really pay attention to a whole lot in chat, but now is your guys' time to shine. Please ask us stuff. We want to know. But while you're asking questions, we're going to go through our schedule this coming week. We're going to try to stick to it as best as we can. I know that with Penn having surgery and I had migraines, and then
Penn didn't have surgery. Beard fluffed.
Life gets in the way. So we're going to try to stick to the schedule as best as we can. Tomorrow night is Light Level Tuesday, where me and Grenade are going to play through some Destiny. If Raccoon wants to join, she's welcome to. But Raccoon does not want to join on Light Level Tuesday. Wednesday is Community Spotlight Wednesday. One of us is going to have to take that. I know I have D&D that night. Raccoon has D&D that night. Grenade, it might be on you to pull up Light Level Wednesday.
I got Friday.
You got Friday. All right.
Yep.
I think with Penn being out right now, we're going to most likely skip Community Spotlight Wednesday this week. Tetra Thursday, where hopefully the four of us will be able to sit down and play a game all together. Maybe Modern Warfare this week. Get back into that for a session or two. Friday is Gentlemen's Fridays with Grenade, or Gentlewoman's. Grenade, what are you doing this Friday?
Well, since Chone won the last one, he got to pick who came back, and he actually picked Kev and Rock to come back. So I'll have Wolverine guy Kev and Rock back on the next episode.
All right,
if they want to come back.
Join Grenade on Friday for that. Saturday, Game Night Saturday with Raccoon, where she's going to play through some fun games. And Sunday, we're going to try to do a weekly episode rerun, so all of you on the East Coast with earlier times can watch this lovely show. So let's see, what questions do we have? Do we got anything in chat here?
Banksy says, I like both sides of the coin here. Live service games are awesome and I have a great time. But single player game also have been awesome. Created something that was personal to me, where I could get involved with the story more, and would never have been the same if it was multiplayer. So yeah, I like both sides of the games on their own.
I agree with that statement. Yeah. I really enjoy single player games. Like, it's like sitting down and reading a novel or listening to an audiobook, and then we keep going back to Horizon Zero Dawn with the new one coming out. It's like getting the sequel to the single player game. I love that stuff. It's great.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Coming from somebody who prefers multiplayer games, what about a single player game that if another person was able to play, say, Horizon Zero Dawn, just having the ability to play the game alongside of you.
I think it would
Makes
take
it
away
ruin
from
it.
it. I think it would
They'd
take away from it. Yeah.
even
the
if you
only-
don't have to do it.
Yeah,
It'd
I
take
think
away.
I think it would take away. They tried
I
it
do.
with Assassin's Creed Unity, right? Where you
Mhm.
could go on a mission with 3 other people, and it didn't work. You know, like Assassin's Creed is about you as the assassin in that world, right? Same with Horizon. You are that character in that world, and I don't really think that it adds to it. I think it subtracts from the experience more. So
I'll never get it.
I know.
The only time I've seen that, like, okay, so there was a game that me and Nunchuck Norris played last year on PlayStation. I think it's out on PC and Xbox. But the game was called A Way Out, and you're about 2 brothers trying to escape from prison, and one was set up, and the other one I can't really remember the full story. That game itself was pretty cool because it gave us the ability to play, like, say you own the game, right? Raccoon, and then you told me, hey, I want you to jump in with me. All I'd have to do is download the game itself. I wouldn't have to purchase it because they gave you an option to download. But to play it, I just jumped into your game itself and played it with you as the other person because there's two people in it. But the storylines went like this, kind of like intersecting themselves the whole time, which was cool and awesome all at the same time. I tried playing that game single player because I did own it. I did buy it. But it just didn't have the same feel to it because you actually at some point in time you played against your buddy in certain things. Like you played against him. Now, when it was a robot, it really didn't work that well because you beat him every time. So
Sure.
and like at the end of the game, it was literally a shootout between you and your best friend. And
Interesting.
yeah, it was a super, super rad game. I enjoyed the shit out of it. But what made it fun was like the times that I had to play against my buddy. Like there's parts in the game where you had like an arcade machine, and we were literally playing together in the arcade machine, like an old Smash TV type game. But as a multiplayer game, that one didn't work because it
So,
like you beat the.
Another one that tried to do something similar was the Wolfenstein Youngblood, right? Wolfenstein has forever been a single-player game, right? And then they tried to introduce 2 characters into it, and it just didn't work. It's hard.
May I give you an example of something that I think you guys might be overlooking? Fable. Fable 2, Fable 3. That's
Okay.
a great example of a single player story where your friend can literally just jump on in and join you and chill with you and play with you. I come from a large family. I have 5 brothers and sisters. And as a child growing up, I had to have the capability to play multiplayer games with them almost all time, right? So that was a necessity. Having the ability to play a single player storyline where I can just continue my story, have someone jump in, join me to play the story, jump out, and me still be able to play, while it has no effect on the outside gameplay or my fun on it outside of having to yell at them to hurry up, didn't take anything away from it. Like, it was good while they were there, it was good while they were gone. It had no effect on the gameplay or story outside of them just joining me. And that's what my experience with it is.
I feel like it's almost like on a case-by-case basis, right? Where some games, sure, I feel like could benefit from something like that, like Fable, sure. But others, I just want to experience it alone at my own pace with my own quirks and search every corner. And like if Last of Us 2 was multiplayer, I don't think it would work.
But you can. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is if you have every ability to do so, why would adding just an extra person that able to join you when you want them to, you never having to do so, have any negative effect on the gameplay?
I think Last Pen Fighter kind of hit it on the head. Some are all about cinematic storytelling and are just meant to be the character, you and the character, and it's immersive. It
Sure.
can take away from that immersion, is where I would be with it.
How?
Okay, so let's put it this way. I'm going to use The Last of Us 2, or Last of Us as an example, right? Say we're playing a game, right? And I'm Joel and you're Ellie, right?
Well, no, because you're establishing that it starts from the beginning. How about a single-player game like The Last of Us 2, where at a certain point in time,
Where like you had a random survivor
you
come
can
in.
just have someone join you, like a random survivor, and then they can leave, and they have no effect.
But that's the thing; it would have an effect because that game is so story driven that you're going to want to be going at your place, searching each nook and cranny or something like that. If this person jumps in, they don't want to search; they want to continue the story. They can push you
to have them.
Well, but then what's the point of even putting the other person into the game?
You don't have to. That's the thing. But somebody else who wants to do that can.
So you can listen to somebody talking to you the whole time while you're listening to the dialogue of the story?
No. So let me put it like this. I'm not talking about online, strictly like open your game to everybody, join you. I'm talking about like Bloodborne, Dark Souls. Bloodborne is a great example. You literally can play this entire game on your own. You invite this guy to come in.
Sure, okay. Like I said, though, on a case-by-case basis, right? With Bloodborne, yes, you can play it single player, you can play it multiplayer, and it can add to the story. But sure, on some games, yes, it can add to it. But on others, where it's more cinematic, story-driven, I feel like it subtracts. So, yeah, I see your point. I get it. I'm with you on it. Like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, it works. I love playing that game with my friends. I also love playing it single player. Code Vein, another good one. I always want to play that game with my friends, but it is a single player story driven game. It really depends on the type of game that it is and whether or not that would add to it or subtract from it. So
I understand. I understand where you guys are coming from. I really, really do. I'm just trying to see where having the ability for other people to do it, but not affect your gameplay at all, takes away from your experience.
I think it's just a personal thing. Agree to disagree. I don't know. Let's see.
What is your favorite entree, Grenade? Dude, I like to cook, and I like to cook all kinds of things. It's entree, right? Am I saying that right? Yeah. So I can't really answer that, man. I like all kinds of food, man.
Chicken fettuccine Alfredo, baby. My favorite entree. Favorite food, though, is pizza. Or sushi. I love sushi.
Dude, I'm part Ninja Turtle, man. I could eat fucking pizza every day. But do I love it?
Pizza.
No.
I think we have time for one last question. If somebody has a question in there. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that question, let's talk about next week's episode. Oh my God. We are so excited about next week. We have our very first interview here on Tetrad TV, lined up by Last Pen Fighter. The creators of Metal Shade, the comic book series, are going to be here on Tetrad next week, and we cannot wait to interview them. It is going to be awesome.
It's going to be super exciting.
Oh my God.
I'm excited to talk about everything with their art, their style. It's going to be so amazing.
So make sure you go give them some love over there at Metal Shade. Go buy their comics. Go check out their website. I should have their website here, but I don't. So make sure you join us next week for Metal Shade. I'll link you guys to their Kickstarter. Here, this is the Metal Shade Kickstarter. Go check them out. They're going to be live here on the show next Monday. 8 p.m. So join us for that next week. I don't see any more questions in chat. Anything else you guys want to say? No? Agree to disagree?
I've said my piece. I don't agree to disagree. I still need a good reason, and you guys haven't given me one.
All right. So join us next Monday at 8 p.m. for Tetrad TV featuring Metal Shade. It's gonna be freaking awesome. Tonight, we're going to be rating... we are rating Tricky_Live. So make sure you stick around for that. And join us next week. Oh my God, I can't wait. It's gonna be so good. Metal Shade, here on this show. We're gonna grab some artwork and other stuff from them. All you guys gotta join us for that. It's going to be fantabulous. So catch y'all later. Have a good night. And here's Tricky Live. Bye-bye.
Give him a follow.